Okay, so we've learned the basics of how to kind of do our thing with just making stuff move, right? And so we covered, anchor points, position, scale, rotation, opacity. So position, I don't think I covered, but that's just basically if you wanted to move something across the screen, of course, you could, grab the arm layer, um, click position with your the stopwatch there, move it to like where you want it to be. Then if you just move the arm over, and you'll see there's a little like kind of trail that trails behind it with these little handles, and this is a Bezier curve kind of option. So if you want it to look like, I don't know, his arm pops off and flies that way, there you go. And if that's too fast for us, we could of course slow it down by going like that, and you can see it moves faster. So that's just position. So you can do this to anything that you want to. If you end up deciding you don't want the keyframes and you just want to undo it, you can just click here, and that'll erase all the keyframes that you just had. So you don't want to do that unless you're sure you want to do it, but that's a possibility for just a quick shortcut. So now you think, okay, well, you've got all these components in there, so how would I animate these, right? And so let's say we wanted to make this guy look like he was kind of moving around. Well, maybe the simplest way to do it would just be to click on each one of these and go to our anchor point, right? And if you hit the Y button, it'll help you move that, and you can place the anchor point for, say, the helmet, where you want it to go. And now if we check our rotation, let's see, I need to move that, sorry. There you go. You got to grab the actual anchor point. But you kind of want to think, well, where's the logical place, kind of where the skull might attach to the neck back there? I don't know. Okay. And so now if I wanted to like rotate that, okay, well, he looks like his head's moving around. Great. And then I would need to twirl that back up, go to the shoulder pads, select the anchor point there, figure where do I want my anchor point to be for the shoulder pads. Excuse me. Hold down the Y key, and probably in the center, I'm guessing, right? Done that, I could go to my left arm, go to the anchor point for that one, click and hold on it with the Y key, and put it where the shoulder socket joint would probably be for that. Same thing, we did that with the right arm already. To torso, you got to think about where you want the torso to be for the anchor point, and so again, maybe like probably right at the waist, right? So, and so this, you can almost think of it like you're building a skeleton for your character here that you're supposed to be making. So, again, there's lots and lots of places where you can, where this can kind of be, altered. There's lots and lots of different ways that people kind of set up their character rigs, they call it sometimes. But we're just doing it the basic, simple way right now, just so you guys get the gist of it. And so, if I go to my anchor point on the last thing, if you ever get confused about what it is, you can turn it on and off. Again, hit the Y button, and I'm kind of placing these like where the hip joints would probably be. So now if I like rotate that leg, kind of looks like it's moving around, right? So now if I wanted to make this guy look like he was kind of moving around or walking, I just have to animate each part. So this gets to be a little bit time consuming, right? So if I want to make it look like his legs are flopping around, I can do that just by going to rotation, and I can keyframe that, and I can, so if the leg starts there and I move to, again, I can zoom this back out to like seconds, sometimes that's easier. And if by 1 second I want his leg to be kind of up, I can just pull that up like that, and then go to leg 2, and I can keyframe that same thing with leg 2. Sorry, you always want to make sure you start, the movement back here where you just want to be aware of where the playhead is at. So start there, okay, and then if I go to 1 second, where do I want that other leg to go? Well, let's see. I don't know. Yeah, sure. Let's have him do that. All right, and so now if I, push play, that's happening. I can just keep moving the components because they're kind of hinged together in a way. And I can animate this particular character into doing all kinds of stuff that could be hilarious, because that's the goal of this project, right? Is humor and doing funny things with collage. So that's your that's kind of your basic sort of how to sort of deal. And you know, that's a simple, probably the fastest, least um, sort of frustrating way to do it. One last little trick if you're gonna do it this way is if you just select a layer and you hit like R, it's just gonna bring up only the twirl down for rotation, which is super nice, so you don't have to deal with all the other ones if the only thing you care about is rotation. So if you hit leg and hit R, it'll bring up just that. If you want to do R and you want to do opacity, you can hit O, and that'll bring up, sorry, let's see. If you bring up that, there's a lot of different shortcuts. Sorry, I'm forgetting which one is for opacity. I think it's P, but I'll find out in a second. Yeah, that's position. So, but you can do all of the different, you know, there's keyboard shortcuts that'll just show you the ones that you want to see. So that's really like up to you how you want to do all this. But you can work your way through this whole thing. But of course, if I'm trying to move like the whole figure, it's going to be a pain to like animate all of these items a little bit at a time, and then try to move them like all in sync. Like you're going to get problems like when you move the helmet, it's not going to move at the same rate as the shoulder pads. So there's a technique called nesting, which I'll get to here in a little while. But before I do that, I'm going to do another tutorial that goes over more advanced ways to kind of create like a hinged puppet that kind of like we're working on right now. So there will be 2 more videos, kind of a moderately advanced one and a super advanced one that we'll work on. And you can choose how deep into that you want to go depending on how freaked out you are by the software complexities and stuff. But they're all really useful things to know about in After Effects. And by now you know how to move stuff around the screen, layer them over the top of each other. So you should be good to go with sort of the basics of After Effects.